this is probably the single biggest mistake I see dads make, from temporary orders to us getting to a trial or getting to some sort of final order, is exercising every bit of your parenting time.
Yes.
Some guys, I mean, I have clients who work in the logistics industry that they have impossible schedules in December. And we just so happen in January or February to have hearings. And all mom's attorney has to do is, hey, the whole month of December, they weren't taking one of their overnights. And the judge is going to look at you and say, you want more time, but you weren't exercising all your time. Or I have dads who get very frustrated when a judge grants 1 or 2 dinner visits and it's only 2 or 3 hours. You need to exercise that time if you want more, because all the judge is going to do, no matter where you're at in this country, the judge is going to look at you and say, if you aren't exercising all the time I gave you now, why should I give you more time?
Absolutely.
So that's a big thing. And you made a comment that made the comment section blow up on YouTube and Facebook. Working together with your co-parent.
Yes.
I'm a big proponent of, for fathers, I believe the quicker we can bring the proceedings to an end, the better off. I think outcomes become more in favor of mom the longer these things go along, probably because there's some bias in the court. Dads are held to a different standard on the way they communicate. Dads are presumed to be the aggressor no matter what. So the quicker these things get away. But if you're able to get along, whether it be divorce or whether it just be child custody, number one, it's going to be cheaper. Number two, it's going to be a whole lot less stressful. And number three, something we talked about earlier, is that it's going to be easier on your kids. Yeah, if you guys can joke and laugh and you don't have to go. I mean, I have parents who their kids are teenagers and they do exchanges at the police station. How is that beneficial to the kid? Like, your teenage kid probably already doesn't want to shuffle back and forth. They don't like the situation. But then you make them go out to a Walmart parking lot or a police station and put all their belongings in a backpack and jump from one car to the other. That's humiliating to them. So one of the things that came up, and I'll pivot and ask you this question. So you talk about a strategy is try your best to get along with mom. What if mom doesn't want to play ball?
Well, and that's often the story. And so what I usually ask for in my petitions or my motions is what is called the Our Family Wizard app. And it's like a text messaging application in which the parents will only communicate through that application, because that can be monitored. You can't delete the messages. And so if we can show the court that father is the one that's more reasonable and mother is doing all of the cussing and the fussing and not trying to co-parent, that's going to be more favorable to my client as the father, because the judge is going to be able to see, well, listen, he's trying to co-parent with you. You're the difficult one. And so I almost always ask for the Our Family Wizard app if there's contention. If not, then, and they're getting a loan, then I don't ask for it. But it's a very inexpensive app. It's like $99 annually. So it's not that much money. So it's worth the investment, especially if you feel like the other party is contentious or going to, talk crazy to you. And we want to be able to show the court that you're the reasonable parent.
Yeah, and that's we primarily use talking parents out here, but it's the same concept where you can't delete it, you can't do. There's even some more pricey ones that will actually tell you if your tone is appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So depending on the situation, but yeah, I always tell clients, no matter what, even if there's not a lot of contention, even if there's just some bickering, that hey, we're gonna do this. But hopefully 6 months from now, you two look at each other and say, this is dumb, and you can call and text each other. Yeah. But until we get something on paper, you're the one at the biggest risk. So we're going to put it all on this app so she can't make accusations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Certainly agree.
Yeah. And then because one of I'll share everyone, one of the biggest tips, or the number one thing I tell all of my clients, is that they read you your Miranda rights when you get arrested. They don't when you go to family court, but everything can and will be used against you.
Everything.
I've seen a situation where they were talking about, it had been like 2016, 2017, but they were talking about, it was when the military was dealing with like what to do with transgender individuals. How do we treat them? How do we accommodate them? And he sent her an article about the issue. And then immediately afterwards, she asked if he had gotten his doctor's appointment set up. And so 3 years later in court, they try to utilize that to say, hey, he sent her an article about mental illness. And look, she was checking to see if he had gotten his doctor's appointment scheduled. And they just screenshotted those two messages. I mean, we put her on the stand and we read off the entire transcript. But it's one of those things where you have to be careful. So for me, it's brief. Extremely peaceable. I always tell guys, hey, you should talk to him as nice as you did before you started dating. That's how nice you should be to them, and it should be directly about the child. Because if you stick to those three things, there's no way they can make accusations